You're listening to a new episode of The Brave Technologist. Our team just returned from New York, where we attended the AI Summit for the second year in a row. We created a pop-up studio on the show floor and had the privilege of sitting down with some of the conference's top thought leaders in AI who were speaking at the event. Today you'll meet Leah Price, who serves as Vice President leading the Tinman AI Platform at Better, the AI-powered homeownership company. Under her leadership, the Tinman AI Platform will be offered to lenders and brokers across the country as an API-accessible platform. In this episode, we discussed how Tinman embeds generative AI across the entire mortgage tech stack, the limitations of traditional ROI models in enterprise AI adoption, and their vision for outcome-based pricing, how AI avatars and bots reduce borrower friction and improve trust, and what the future of mortgage lending could look like with AI as infrastructure. And now for this week's episode of The Brave Technologist. Leah, welcome to The Brave Technologist. How are you doing today?
I'm really good. How are you?
Great. You spoke yesterday here at the AI Summit, and kind of looking back on your session, what was a key takeaway you wanted people to walk away with from your talk?
Yeah. In preparing for my session, it was on ROI in AI. I realized that what we have with Tinman AI Platform and our pricing really is a game changer. So we price based on outcomes. So most technology in general and AI right now is priced on a subscription basis or a per seat basis, but we've completely flipped that on its head. We've got our software solution that has embedded AI at its core, and we only charge our clients when they realize a revenue event.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. And so I was asking the audience, of you all, are you buyers of AI? Are you builders? Or are you sellers? And they were all distributed. But I said, you know what? It's in your power to tell your vendors, hey, what if I don't pay unless I see an outcome? Yeah. And that would really flip things upside down.
That's really awesome. What do you think is one of the biggest misunderstandings around how people are measuring success? Because obviously I think with what you're doing, there's a clear ROI outcome, but are there just any general misunderstandings you're seeing?
Well, what I realized yesterday was that this whole concept, the traditional way of thinking about ROI at a big enterprise, and I come from the federal government where in order to kick off any kind of technology implementation, you've got to thoroughly vet what the cost is going to be and upfront predict what either the reduction in costs or the revenue benefit would be. And now I'm thinking that whole paradigm needs to completely shift. And what if we just didn't think about upfront investment at all? What if everybody in software just said, no, I'm just not paying until I see some kind of benefit?
Yeah, I think it's not totally foreign either, right? Like a lot of people have free legs of software. People are kind of used to that. We've seen it kind of limited on the AI side, but it seems really interesting in your guys' application, almost like a cost per action or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On the AI side, what we've thought about and what we see. So in general, just software, when you add on some kind of an AI chatbot or a bell and whistle, a vendor will try to charge up for that and say, oh, here's my agent and let me upsell you on this agent. We've decided we're not doing that.
Oh, that's cool.
It's the same price whether or not you use our chatbot on top. If you use our voice bot, we also have human-based avatars that sit on top of our platform. All of that is embedded into the same price, which you only pay when you realize value.
That's cool. Why don't we get into that a little bit more? You're leading this effort around the Tinman AI platform, at Better. What is Tinman doing, and how is this changing the mortgage tech landscape?
Yeah, okay, and I won't assume that you know anything about the mortgage tech landscape. It is super old school. Yeah. And I'm going to talk about it both from my perspective now at Better, but also from my perspective having regulated the industry prior. So the mortgage industry, 85% of lenders are on a software stack that was built in the 1990s.
I believe it. It's one of those things where, I think I remember doing refinancing, right? Like in 2019 or 20, and this lady came to our house, the notary, with a stack of papers that was like half a ream high that we had to sign through. So it's kind of one of those things where it seems ripe for disruption, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
And so when I was working at the federal regulator, I was leading an office of AI. And so I had a lot of interaction with people in the industry and lenders. So both vendors and lenders. And the one lender that was out there at the bleeding edge of leveraging technology and generative AI was Better.com. And so I had them on my radar. I was like, wow, these guys are really they're going to kill it once Gen AI tools really take center stage, which in the mortgage industry would take a while, but they were so ahead in embracing it. I was like, you know what, that would be the place I would want to work. I would leave the federal government. But they're a lender, and I wasn't really into being a lender. But at some point over the course of the last year, the CEO, Vishal Garg, who is like a Steve Jobs kind of genius, he decided he wanted to license out the software to other lenders.
Okay.
So we're kind of in this AWS moment for the mortgage industry.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you think of Amazon selling books, and then it shifts to becoming the infrastructure for all of these major enterprises. We're making that shift from being a lender serving borrowers to now being the infrastructure for all of loans everywhere.
That's awesome.
And so the mortgage industry itself, if you think in terms of value, it's $2 trillion worth of mortgages are originated per year.
Yeah.
That's a huge market.
Absolutely.
And most of those lenders are on that infrastructure that was built in the 1990s.
Right.
This is the opportunity of a lifetime for me. And so that's where I'm sitting right now. I've got this spectacular piece of software that is just making the pivot. We've got 3 clients that we are implementing right now. And so that's about to get a lot of news in the world as we go into broad launch with the software.
So is that, I can imagine too, you've probably got a new generation of home buyers, right? That, and the home is still that kind of big asset, American dream type of asset, right? For people to get and to kind of socially move forward in a lot of cases. Is this process just making it easier to buy, or do you get a lender? How does it work?
Yeah, okay, so baseline, typically there are 8 different systems that a lender uses to manufacture a mortgage. So there's a point of sale that the borrower interacts with, then there's a loan origination system that internal users at a mortgage lender work with, and there's pricing engines, there are all kinds of different pieces. Better.com had built its own end-to-end platform, so one single software stack. So what that teed up very nicely for us was when Gen AI became all the rage. Competitor vendor products, they could only add Gen AI into their one little piece of the puzzle. So the borrower could talk to a chatbot. And then the loan origination system had some kind of bot for internal people, et cetera, et cetera. What we've been able to do is layer Gen AI on top of this end-to-end system. So nobody else has this one bot, which is available in voice or chat or avatar. Nobody else, ours is called Betsy, by the way, Better, Betsy. She's able to access a loan file, interact with the borrower, do phone calls. All of that information that she can collect about a borrower is then also in the context of what an internal user at a mortgage lender has access to.
Oh, cool.
And then Betsy also has access to everything on the pricing side. So how much does a loan cost? How much is a lender going to make on that transaction? And so it's really special what we are able to offer now in terms of an AI offering.
Yeah, that's great. There's so many pieces like you're saying, and you keep hearing people talk about agentic things, and it seems like such a good area to kind of show that off. Where do you see the biggest opportunities for AI to reduce friction, and not just automating tasks, but in general in homeownership and lending?
Well, we've really leaned hard into automating tasks internally at Better. So that's we've seen all kinds of gains. Our loan officers are able to handle 3 times the volume of regular industry. Underwriters and loan processors can handle 10x the volume. So I don't want to poo-poo or say that's not cool, because it's really important for what I'm selling. But in terms of game changers, in terms of real friction for borrowers, you think about we've been experimenting with an AI avatar. So I have there's a Leah avatar out there who you can interact with 24 hours a day. She has a whole knowledge base of information. She's not trained with my personality, because nobody would want to interact with that.
Oh, come on.
But we have another one named Brian who's trained, who's been fed all of his personal quirks and his sayings and his friendliness. and he can provide really custom tailored relationship building with the borrower. So all of that being said, the game changer there is 24/7, a borrower can actually have access to near human grade interaction with these avatars.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so you think about, sometimes borrowers are embarrassed about their questions.
Yeah, oh, totally.
Yeah. And so maybe they don't even want to really talk to a human. Like, they want the essence of a nice person.
Right.
But they don't want to actually feel like they might be judged.
Yeah.
And so there's a whole opening there, I think, for borrowers to feel more comfortable. So that's one of the things that I'm really excited about.
That's something I hear echoed all over. I've talked to all sorts of different people in the academic space, tell me the same thing, where it's like, look, especially for people who may be new to the country, like they feel uncomfortable asking questions. It just seems like a great way. You can ask every like quote unquote dumb question to the bot and get the answer back and kind of go in. Or people like, some people might not even like go forward with the process because they're unsure about something, right?
Exactly.
Like, yeah, that seems really interesting.
Yeah, and so like my avatar is really funny. I cannot be that funny. I'm not capable. But you think like she will listen to every single word that a borrower says. A human loan officer can't focus that well. A human loan officer can't possibly process pricing in real time. But Betsy can, because she has access to that pricing engine. And actually we've programmed, here's another thing that is special about the way we've done this, is that our Gen AI tools, they're not able to hallucinate. They don't do any calculations.
Okay.
Because we already have this platform underlying that performs all the calculations itself.
Oh, nice.
So the Gen AI is only calling the service.
Yeah.
And that's how it will provide any kind of estimate or calculation on the value of the loan or pricing.
I would imagine too, I mean, and just kind of with your background, looking at it from kind of working for the people too, you get a better sense of a like a log of events, right? Like, because I mean, you know, when the financial crisis happened, there were all these stories about backrooms and opaque processes and stuff. But it seems like here, at least, you have like kind of an audit trail or something like. Is that fair?
Exactly. So you cannot hide. It would be very hard for typically, lenders record conversations. Mm-hmm. We have full transcripts of all of our bot interactions, and then we have a guardian model that's constantly monitoring those conversations.
Wow.
And so if a conversation is going south for whatever reason, if a borrower is having an issue, the guardian model will cut it off and intervene and get a human. So you can't do that with human beings.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you can't actually really trust human beings to say the right thing. We were reviewing a transcript recently of a borrower whose husband had died.
Oh.
And they were talking about that difficulty from the financial transaction perspective. But the borrower, in the midst of this really hard conversation, then said, oh, you know what, I'm sorry, I don't have that information right now because I have chemo brain.
Oh.
And then you're like, oh my God. And the bot picked up on that immediately.
Really?
And was so empathetic. You know, like a human, it can be hard for a human to know what to say.
Yeah.
And you expect that humans are going to be more sympathetic.
Right.
But Betsy, the bot, she said the perfect thing and then transitioned and said, you know, if you need more time, just let me know. So, like, we can code these bots to say the exact thing that we want them to and actually put more thought into how we want to treat our customers. You can also customize. One of the things that we're letting our customers do is rebrand the whole software to whatever they want.
Oh, cool.
So let's say Brave wants to become a loan originator.
Right.
We could call the whole system Brave. You could, I don't know, it's a lion, right?
Right,
you could say Lionel is your chatbot, and we could tailor his voice, and we could give him sass and attitude.
That's awesome.
And we could tell him, I want you to handle borrowers, you know, with a little bit of attitude.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, like, you have home buyers of all different demographics and makeups and all that stuff, and the ability to kind of tailor it. It's just like, because those are the things where people kind of get thrown by bad behavior, right? Or people kind of being deceptive or whatever. But if you have a system that can kind of be tailored to go towards a certain type of buyer in a way that's productive, it seems really interesting.
Exactly.
What kind of shifts in borrower expectations are you seeing as AI gets woven into the process?
Yeah, so borrowers are really starting to demand that they be met where they are.
Okay.
And that's good for us because we're leading the charge and having these Gen AI tools who can call, can meet on Zoom, or who can text. So over time, I expect borrowers to get more and more demanding, which will be great for us.
Awesome.
Also, I talked about custom tailoring our bot to meet whatever needs. I think consumers are going to get more demanding about having custom tailored interactions.
Yeah.
So, with a human being, let's say I don't want to talk to a dude. Like I can't demand that as a consumer. But if I'm interacting with a bot, it's super easy to be like, I would feel more comfortable if it was a woman in her 50s who was kind of maternal.
Yeah.
And that's the persona. And then there you go.
It's really interesting to think about too, because we even, like in our products, we let you kind of tune the responses from our interface to how it is. You could totally see that being something you could maybe port over or something like that. Exactly. And kind of have that continuity in, because it's really interesting, like talking about this, because it's like I'm hearing a lot of care and depth around like treating the human like the human, right? Like having the right human responses with this stuff. And I think that's something people kind of worry about with these things. It's just like that it will be too cold or, mechanical. So it's really cool.
I like my AI cold. Mechanical. I don't want any fluff, man.
Hey, everybody's different.
And one thing that we're looking forward to, and I think borrowers are going to start to demand, like everyone's really comfortable with ChatGPT and that kind of interface. Mm-hmm. Soon it's going to be, I'm a borrower, I want a house. I don't want to think about the loan.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go into ChatGPT and say, I want to buy a place in the West Village.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
And then ChatGPT is like, oh, great, I got your stuff in Dropbox. I'm going to go ahead and make your loan. And borrower doesn't even have to think about who the lender is.
Yeah.
We want to be the infrastructure for that. So we're
great.
Working with OpenAI
awesome.
on that concept.
That's great. I mean, seeing that work really well with like travel and even with auto buying, yes. Right? And it's one of those things where people really hate having to haggle or go through, lots of bureaucracy on that stuff. So it's really interesting. How do you see that mortgage experience? Is that kind of how you see it going, like 5 years from now? Or, I mean, if you could wave a wand and be 5 years in the future?
Yeah, I think it's a big open question. What is the front door for borrowers?
Uh-huh.
But I know that zero borrowers sit around thinking, oh, I'm excited to talk to a loan officer
right.
or an originator. And I think most of them don't want to think about who the lender is.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They just want the house.
Right, right.
And so how can we best allow a borrower to focus on the object of desire mm-hmm. and not get caught up in all the other junk?
Yeah.
And so that front door, I think, is going to be however borrowers are already more comfortable ordering other stuff.
Sure.
So like today, people are used to ordering things on Amazon.
Uh-huh.
It feels like in the future, everybody's going to have some kind of ChatGPT-like interface that knows everything about them, their preferences, is customized to them. I suspect that is the future.
Yeah.
And our software will just be integrated there, and it'll be completely seamless. And then, then it's not just mortgages, then it's all types of financial products, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. auto, personal loans, and then really global penetration is much easier.
Yeah,
right? Imagine that distribution channel is just ChatGPT or whoever is more.
Yeah, I mean, and there's been a lot of like innovation too around like things like Zillow and stuff where people are out there looking online for these things, and it's almost like, okay, seeing the back end of it now, being able to kind of get an easier process to getting the keys to your house or whatever, like it really makes a lot of sense. So what role do you see standards bodies like MISMO playing as AI becomes more embedded into underwriting and decision? Maybe we can say what MISMO
Nobody
is.
ever asked me about MISMO, but I'm a huge fan of MISMO. I'm a senior advisor to MISMO. I've led the emerging technology community of practice. So I've talked to them a lot about what their role should be in the industry, and it's really around data standards. Mm-hmm. If we can have a unified view of even what defines a given metric mm-hmm. or a given value, that's huge value, so that everybody's working off the same data. And
for the uninitiated, so MISMOs, are they like kind of like a standards body around these?
So the Mortgage Bankers Association is the trade association for the mortgage industry. A subsidiary of that is the Mortgage Industry Standards Maintenance Organization.
You got it.
So we have been a gold sponsor, and in prior roles, I've also been a gold sponsor of MISMO.
Mm-hmm.
They're
great.
Very important. So
that's awesome. So Tinman's being offered as like an API accessible platform. What do you think the great AI infrastructure for lenders and brokers will be in the next few years? It's kind of like what you're talking about around just being able to integrate.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, 85% of the industry is on a platform that was built in the 90s.
Yeah.
So the future is theirs. All they have to do is make that change. And the way we've set it up, there's no implementation fee, no upfront cost, no per seat. If you get implemented and you don't use it, we don't make any money.
Wow.
So we are completely incentivized that our customers make money, which is that really puts our feet to the fire, that we have to deliver value.
Yeah.
So I believe that paradigm, I think in software, that is disruptive. But the mortgage industry, it's completely revolutionary.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially based on what we've been talking about here today. It's like, it doesn't sound like there's a lot of competition either in the space, or people doing it in the same way that you all. I mean, you've got, guardian agents, all these other things like already in place. It's really, really interesting. But you might have to do a couple of rapid fire questions, like when at the end that we wrap this up. So what's the mortgage step you'd eliminate forever if you could?
New York City co-ops.
All right. What's the most underrated metric for judging AI success?
Delight.
Okay, excellent. And what's one word to describe the future of home ownership?
Piece of cake.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, too. You've been really gracious with your time. I think our audience is going to learn a lot from this. Where can people find out more about what you're up to, or reach out to you, or more about what you're doing at Better?
Yeah. So better.com is the lender's website. Better.com/Tinman to find out a little bit more about Tinman and to play with our avatar.
Awesome.
And then I'm on LinkedIn, Leah Price.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Leah. Really appreciate you making the time. It's been a great conversation. I've learned a lot, and I think our audience has too.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to the Brave Technologist podcast. To never miss an episode, make sure you hit follow in your podcast app. If you haven't already made the switch to the Brave browser, you can download it for free today at brave.com and start using Brave Search, which enables you to search the web privately. Brave also shields you from the ads, trackers, and other creepy stuff following you across the web.